Hi, how are you doing? It's certainly been a minute, hadn't it? Uh, I should have planned this out a little bit more. Bit last minute, but hold on, I need to put this over here. I'm figuring things out as I go along here, so it's gonna be a second while I figure out how to do stuff. I've been doing all right. I am currently attempting to figure out if I'm actually streaming right now. I'm not entirely certain. Can't be certain until I actually view my channel and see if I'm streaming. Okay, yeah, I am. It sounds like I'm a little quiet. Let's see if I can maybe bump that up a bit. What would that be under? I can turn it down. I could have tested this, honestly. Well, it looked like shit. Why do I look so Oh, is it I'm streaming it? No, I'm streaming at 720 at least, so it's okay. I just look so terrible in comparison to the coding thing. That's pretty bad. I need to figure that out. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna type something because I've got a little. So I've got two chats in my. I was gonna yeah, OBS, and I don't know which one is the right one. So let's test that out before I get too much further. Before I forget. Um, what is? It's not showing up in either. Oh well, because I'm like a couple solid like 20 seconds behind or something like that. So maybe that's the reason why it's not showing up in my chat yet. This is, I'm sure, very engaging content everybody is loving to watch. Let's see. The basis of today's stream is that I'm going to be continuing to code this trivia tournament thing that I've been working on for a hot minute here. Oh, right, I was going to make my volume louder. Do that while I try and wait, I guess. Gain? Yeah, I guess it'd be gain. Do it a little bit here. See if maybe that helps. Let's see. Do I need to close this before it takes into effect? Hold on. Where's it aiming? Hold on. Oh, it's like aiming away from me. That that doesn't help. Okay. I think that should. I might need to turn this down a bit. No, I'm sure that'll be fine. Let's try refreshing the page. Creation helps everyone feel safe. Yeah. No, it still says I'm pretty quiet. Which is weird because it shows me like peaking in OBS Studio itself, but I get to the stream and it's just kind of not too great. Okay, let's try this. Volume is logarithmic, I think, right? So it'd be kind of a mess if I did anything else. So I'm gonna try that out. Wait for the stream to catch up, and then I'll go from there. Okay. Why is my chatting not showing up? I mean, I doubt anyone's chatted in my stream so far, but it'd be nice to know for certain. Oh, probably doesn't help. I got my computer audio kind of quiet as well. This should be fine. Because I hate when I try to give somebody new a chance and their audio is just so quiet. It's just miserable. I'm like, I want to watch your stream, but you're not letting me watch your stream, you know? Is it? Okay, just cut up. Oh my god, it's still quiet. Okay, why? Oh, wait. Why is. Okay, I see. So this chat is fake, and then this chat is real. Okay, so I think I should be good to start getting into stuff. It only took me like 5 minutes, which all things considered, honestly, not too bad. So I know I can see the chat now. Oh, I haven't even checked my subscription box in a while. So I've been. Oh no! One of the VTubers I was keeping an eye on graduated. That's so sad. Oh no, it's I graduated for this year, and the next year is still happening. Okay, it's just a gigantic meme. Okay, that's great. Probably should have guessed by the fact that there's another stream right next to it from the same guy. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is, my friends. Okay, what was I thinking about? Oh yeah, I'm going to talk about where I've been. Honestly, just school. I've gotten myself back into education. For those of you who haven't exactly been keeping up with it, and it's a bit rough. I've only got about year and a half left, so hopefully during the summertime I'll be able to put a little more effort into this, and I'll be able to kind of maybe slip into a schedule or some kind of familiarity with this with everything. I'm not too worried about trying to force something into happening that isn't going to happen. You know, I just want things. I was gonna say to kind of fall into place, but I think just realistically, you know, that's never gonna happen. Things aren't just gonna fall into place. You kind of gotta force some respect, respectful respect. You know, I don't want to just not be respectful, because you gotta work. You know, you gotta work to get there. You gotta work to get there. I'm rambling. One of my streaming goals is to get less rambly, because I'm pretty rambly, and I think that's maybe some of the draw. You know, I feel like people, when they have a favorite person they like to watch, they like to um there's certain. Oh, can you see my cursor? That might be a little important. um my cursor showing up now? Okay, cool. You know, it's kind of important to have a personality for your stream, and I feel like rambling is definitely a big part of mine, but I don't want to ramble so hard I lose the lead, as it were. So here's what I have so far. Actually, I'm not sure this will show up. Um, yeah, that's not gonna show up. I'll have to. Maybe I can duplicate this. Sorry, I'm doing OBS things right now. I did kind of ramble out of my way of talking about what I was talking about, but I was pretty much done, honestly, with what I was talking about. Okay, let's see. So this is what I have so far. This is on the back of the Mafia game that I was working on. Oh wait, no, you can't see that. I need to transition it over. Okay, so this is a window, but showing it off right now. So, you know, you get a little menu screen. There's a little hosting button, a little join button. Give yourself a little username. If you don't, it'll just automatically assign one to you, Jimothy. Why is it lit up like that? That's weird. I mean, you can still see some of the remnants of the Mafia system over here. That's something I'm still working on, but something that's going to require a decent amount more effort. So I'm not exactly working on it right now. I'm kind of using this as a way of building my way into working on the Mafia game. So I'm just working on little things right here. See, this would be like a little answer thing. You know, the question would be here. You know, like for trivia, I don't know, how old is Vic? You know, and this would be like 2 years old. This would be like 20. This would be 40, 80. I don't know. And this, after everybody's done and the answer gets flipped over or whatever on the side over here, then you've got these two little markers telling you how people voted, and I don't remember what this one does, but it'll automatically kind of space out these little markers with people's names on it as it goes through. So I think that's very cool. The timer was working. Guess it's not working anymore. What are these little test buttons that do stuff and don't do stuff? Bunch of stuff going on here. Let's see what's going on here. Initialize condition error is not a goal. Okay, what? What causes that? Think about rendering? Oh, I think I use an initialize function. I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit. Right, so where have I been? School. That's pretty much that. Juggling school with motivation issues and energy issues and wide variety of other things. No, honestly, not that wide of a variety of other things. But, you know, a lot of things. Just kind of keeping my head above water, as it were. What am I doing now? I am, as I mentioned, doing this little trivia game to get some more skills to work on the Mafia game that I want to start streaming at some point. It's seeming like maybe during the summer I'll have time for it, or if not during the summer, then maybe after I'm done with school is kind of the ideal. I always at an impasse because I kind of want to network and meet other streamers. Well, I say other streamers. I don't stream, so how can I say other streamers? Streamers, and you know, kind of build the basis to start the Mafia streams. But at the same time, it's like if I'm doing that, then it's got to be ahead of school. If it's, excuse me, after school, after I am done with college, and if I'm doing it after I'm done with college, then that's going to be so much effort. Like okay, let me kind of rephrase that because I think I rambled again. So if I'm networking with streamers, right, it's probably before I've built the Mafia game, and there's either two options. It's either during school or after I'm done with school. And if it's during school, then I'm going to be trying to build this Mafia game, trying to stream, trying to network with streamers, and also trying to keep a semblance of good grades and trying to get internships and stuff like that. So it's just a big old mess. If I do it after school, well, that's, you know, potentially years down the line that I start doing this thing that I really want to do. The reason I'm streaming today, in particular, this is the reason I'm streaming today, not getting into any wider implications as to what that sentence may inscribe. I don't know. I've just been watching a lot of videos lately. Let me see. let's see, Matt Pat is leaving the internet. Tom Scott is leaving the internet. Well, I guess they're not really leaving. Or at least Matt Pat isn't leaving. Matt Pat is kind of sticking around, as it were. But I've I started okay, so I started watching Doug, who is a popular Twitch streamer. And I was like, well, that's really impressive. I want to be like Doug, and then I realized, wait, I don't have a chat. I can't be like Doug. How do I get a chat? I need to stream. Well, how do I stream if I want to be like Doug and he does things with his chat? It's kind of a catch-22, as it were. I think that's one of those things where you need to kind of fall into it at the right place at the right time, as it were. And I'm not at the right place at the right time. I need to kind of make sure I position myself in the right place at the right time. And see, Doug made a video called actually I still have it pulled up on my other monitor. Doug's Guide for New Content Creators. Okay, so let's take a look here, right? So I am this video is 1 hour 39 minutes 59 seconds long. Now I am 5 minutes 48 seconds into this video. I was like, I gotta go start making things. And then keep in mind that was 2 days ago, so I proceeded to not make anything. I opened up Godot here. Let's see, where was I? I think I was over here somewhere. I wrote about this stuff here. Called it a day. No, for those of you not too familiar with programming, this is not this is not a very productive day. This is not a very productive day. I've got a lot of big ideas, but it's a matter of actually putting those into fruition. And I figure maybe I can do two things at once. I can stream and work on the game. As of the past 20 minutes or so, would imply that not be the case. I don't know how productive I'm going to be right now. But I'm digressing. I don't know why this error is happening. I thought it was because, like, if you go over here, we have this function here, and for some reason I thought that was initialized, and maybe there's some kind of complication between, this being initialized and that being initialized, but this isn't. It's initiate. This is initiate as well. So I don't really know why this is happening. Looks like it's some kind of render issue, which I'm not really missing. I mean, this is where you see all the screen stuff here, right? All these things over on the left, it's all green. Well, that's because it's a control node. Control node is for graphical interfaces. Now, that's not to say that graphical interfaces cannot have renders. They do. It's how video games work. But generally, you're not going to be doing a lot of messing around with the renderers when you're messing around with UI elements. I am kind of taking an approach to this where I build everything piece by piece, right? So, you've got I'm kind of instancing everything. You've got a board. So theoretically, I don't know, you could have two boards at once if you wanted for some reason. A board being like in a lobby inside the actual game lobby. This would be the board. It'll have the questions. It'll have, all the possible questions. It'll have the answers. It'll have pictures. It'll have, I don't know, a starting screen and an ending screen and whatever else I feel like putting there. This right here is probably just gonna be for the person moderating it. As you saw before. Let's see. I need to transition over? Do I need to make it visible? Yeah, so you go over here, go host, start game. Got all these little tabs. One messes with the timer. Oh, fuck. I broke it. Uh, okay, I know why it broke. It's because, again, it's referencing old Mafia variables which don't exist. Um, which is fine because we'll mess with that later. The only person messing with it should be the host, which is me, so it's okay if it does that. You know, if you have stuff to mess with the timer, got stuff to test stuff, and if you're not the host, this will disappear, and these will just kind of extend downwards. Is kind of the idea. You get the player list over here. We'll probably add some points off to the side. Or maybe under it. I think under it may be smarter because you'll have like a long name and then the points underwards. Rather, if the name is too long, then it may push the points off the screen. So you'd want the points underneath. That way it's always in a specific place, even if the name is long. And it cuts out some of the effort of having to like, because you could just make another column, right? Like you can make another column, just cut it in half or cut it into quarters or whatever, and have the points off to the right. But then you'd have to like make a size for the columns and stuff, and it's just easier to make points. Another, like have a little underscore or something here, and just kind of put points underneath it. I think is probably what I'll end up doing. It doesn't need to look super fancy. I'm not going to be streaming this like I am going to be doing with the Mafia and stuff. I'm just doing this to get a better appreciation for development practices and mess around with 2D stuff like that. I do eventually want to graduate in, as it were, into making video game type stuff, more traditional video game type stuff. I have a lot of ideas for cool video games. I think with the Mafia game in particular, what I've accepted is that no, it's kind of getting off topic a little bit. This is kind of leading into the whole rambling thing. I'll talk about. I'm sure I'll have plenty of opportunities to talk about my thought process on Mafia later. But going back and instantiating, right? So you've got the board, and that's this thing here, and you can set up a question. And what is a question exactly? Hold on. I need to go take a look at the code. The reason this is pink right now is that it's just a placeholder texture. So I'm currently just trying to figure. It's just there for now. Eventually, it might be a picture. If it's not a picture, the lower part of this will just disappear. Here, see this. The way Godot works is you have the overall thing up top, and then these little like I don't know what you would call that exactly. Little child indicators, I guess. I don't really know. So you've got the panel that is a child to the question, which is a margin container, and the panel here is a panel container. There's a VBox container. VBox container kind of splits these two items here, which one is a text label, which just holds text. Watch. And the texture rectangle just holds a picture. So, so this would display onto the board, as it were. And it has a certain property, so you know it's got the text size for um like if there's no picture, I can't speak today. If there's no picture, then you would have the question be like small, medium, or large, or whatever, and those are just random numbers that I've decided like that's not inherent to anything in particular. I just kind of made up what looked good, I guess. And that uses a certain BB script in order to a certain set of BB script. I don't know, what would you call them, like modifiers to change how the text looks so it looks a little bit fancier. and then it kind of adds all this stuff together. Um, it'll probably. Hmm, I might just have. Now that I'm thinking about it, what I might do is make it so that both the question and the answer are individual questions. That might be a good idea. Which, when I say what I mean there is question instances. Like you've got this over in the left here, right? You've got you've got instances of stuff. You've got in particular scenes. Like this right here is a scene of of what is a question margin container, which holds all the other stuff. So then when I get back into the lobby here, right? This isn't exactly a tutorial, um, but I guess I will be teaching a little bit about Godot. Like, I guess a lot of people would probably just kind of be spacing out right now, which I think it's fine. This is, um, I'm not really a computer scientist, but there's this concept in, I don't know if it's just computer science or if it's a, a greater concept as well, called rubber duckying. The rubber ducky, where you talk to a rubber ducky, and the idea is that the rubber ducky doesn't know what you're talking about. The rubber ducky is obviously very intelligent. He's got his degree from Harvard, but he doesn't know about computer science, right? So you talk to it and describe your problem, and in describing the problem to another perceived being, you help work through your problems. And I've been at kind of a standstill with this because I've having some trouble putting it together in my head, the greater overall picture. And so that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And if this makes sense at all to any of you, that's cool. If somebody's looking back on this and like, how is he doing stuff? This is currently what I'm trying out, and I might extend this into the Mafia game as I do that. I don't really want to ever stream me developing the Mafia game because that's something I'm going to be streaming online. And if there were to be, say, any network insecurities, as it were, that's not something I would want to be public. So that's not something I'll probably stream. This is minimal networking aspects. And when I do stream this, or when I do play this, it'll probably just be with friends or maybe recorded content or something. I don't really know. I can, if I do play this with somebody on a stream, we can just sort it out beforehand and kind of set it up beforehand. Whereas with Mafia, there's a significantly higher chance that somebody leaks an IP or somebody gets a copy of it when they shouldn't, or I don't even know what. So I just don't really want to take the chances with that. I'm going to be messing with a lot of unknown elements in that kind of a scenario. So I don't really want to do that. I'm not that confident of a developer to be able to put myself out there like that. If any of you are actual developers and you're reading my code, you're probably like, this guy is an idiot. Well, I'm about 90% self-taught. This uses Godot, that is to say, uses a language called GD script, which is very similar to Python, but also different in a lot of ways. Um, I'm just kind of looking around, right? So, like, this wouldn't necessarily do anything in a normal Python script, I don't think, but this connects to other things within Godot, called like nodes and stuff. So you've got like nodes have things called signals which happen when certain things which get emitted when certain things happen. And when you've got, for example, a start button and it gets pressed, it emits a signal, and you can connect that to functions. And this function is called start button pressed. So you connect those two together, and then this happens. We get sent to the Mafia game thing over here, and this goes here and there, and it's kind of a mess. When it came to networking, I kind of Godot was at I want to say inflection point. I'm not sure if inflection point is even the right word. Um, yeah, an inflection point. Yeah, that makes sense. And it was kind of at an inflection point with the networking system where they were started changing over and started changing a bunch of important things. And I was so incredibly confused because I was seeing so many tutorials from previous versions, and some of them would be the right version but wouldn't work, or would be the different versions but be a bad way of doing things and got deprecated. So there's so much legacy code when it comes to this. Well, not necessarily legacy code, but just code that could be optimized significantly, no doubt, if I had any idea of what I was doing. Uh, yeah, but it works for now. This doesn't need, as you can see, going back to the lobby setup here. I'm just making something simple. Press button, sends it to server waits for me to press a button, sends it to a state machine, which does something and sorts points or whatever. The main thing I'm trying to do right now is there's kind of two main things I'm worrying about is um, the particular way that I'm setting things up on the board, which is something I need to figure out. I need to figure out how I'm doing the um let's see, the Jeopardy board, right? How I'm doing the Jeopardy board. I don't think it should be that difficult, but hold on. Oh, is it not letting me crop? You've seen Jeopardy. I'm sure you've seen Jeopardy. I'm not gonna mess. I'm not gonna spend like 5 minutes trying to crop this out so you can see. I'm not bothering with that. Um, I just blinked out there. But essentially, going back, I think I've more or less described how I'm planning on working with my mom, with the game, right? Like what this is, how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it. Well, going back to instantiating a little bit more, right? So you press a button, and the button says add a question to the board or whatever. And so you get let's see, test tab should be here. Right? So you get this hidden option, right? And you instantiate it, and then once you instantiate it, you've got all this stuff to work with, right? So if you've got this kind of basic setup of an option of a little display panel. And you've got this marker container and you've got this button. You press the button, something happens. What happens in this particular scenario is that sends a signal to two places, to your client saying, hey, we've done this, and then I'll set it to be a different color or something, and a second signal to the server that says, hey, this guy pressed this button. So what that first thing does when you press the button and you selected it and you've changed a different color and you put your own marker on there, right? And markers are crap. Let's open up the test game again just so I can have a better visual aid here. This right here, this would say, I've limited it to two characters, the first letter and the last character. So, and my name in the game right now is Jimothy. So this would say JY when you get into the game, and everyone's going to have their own color, which will help if two people have the same two letters, so you'll be able to tell that way. And I'll probably color this in with the right color eventually. When I get around to doing that, that's a later on thing. Yeah, so that's what a marker is, right? It's this little thing, this little circle right here, right? So let's hide that again. So we get back here, right? Oh, sorry. I need the transition. Here we go. So you've got the little place for the markers, but how does it get there? It's not there already, you know? So we go here, look at the script for this. We can add a marker, and the marker is simply marker.instantiate. So marker.initiate, which we go to the marker. There's all this stuff here, right? So you've got, you're not going to be able to see this because it's very, very tiny. But basically, you've got a, this one is an image. That's the circle. I've just made an image of a circle and put it in there. And you've got the name, which is the person's name, the 2 letters. And I've done a bunch of way too much effort to get it so that it's centered. I don't exactly remember where that happens. I think it's in hidden option. I don't remember exactly where that is. My option, perhaps? There's somewhere that centers it. And one piece of very clever programming that I've done that I'm proud of is inverting the colors. So you can see it, right? So you get the player color, and this gets passed in through initiate, that gets passed in through hidden option. The color is based off of whatever gets added, right? So let's say you've got, so you would have a list of these options, right? And then you would iteratively go through and say, all right, the server would iteratively go through and say, all right, Jimothy sent in this option here. This is the one he wants. And this is his color. So we're going to send that in to the marker, pink or whatever. And that sends it to the option. And the option says, okay, well, we've got to create a new marker. And then the circle gets automatically created, the circle color. It gets inverted so it's always at least visible, right? Because if it was always black and somebody's color was dark blue, that may be hard to see. So I just invert it. Then it colors the image. Let's see, where does that happen exactly? Circle color right here. So this sets the height and width of the circle here. And this sets the color of the circle here. This is the actual circle image, gray circle. It's always just a gray circle, but then I color it using that. And you've got the image name here, and that's the person's name. And it, BB code here, which if you're not familiar, that's like a forum type thing, a forum color, kind of. What am I saying? A type of formatting text that's used predominantly in forums. Yeah, that's probably the best way to say what I'm trying to say here. So you push this color code, right? And then you do something with that. You parse the BB code, display name, whatever. That works. I'm not messing with it. I'm not gonna mess with it too much. And you've got some kind of basic functions here that I might need down the line. They don't do anything right now, but I'm like, just throw them in there just in case. Maybe it's not the best way of programming now that I'm thinking about it, but whatever. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need those at some point, so it's better just to have them now, I guess. Oh no, check name. Yeah, we've got that there, right? So check name here, and that's the reason that exists there. So that does have a purpose. Yeah, so it's kind of where this project is at. I've on a kind of on a different level. I I have been struggling a bit with the idea of content creation. On a fundamental level, I so very much want to do this, but there are external factors that make it inconvenient. You've got school, which I mentioned before, you've got other things that make it inconvenient. You've got the fact that honest to God, it's just so hard to work the motivation. Like this just can't be normal to just be this tired all of the time. Like I've not slept great these past 5, 6 days, which I mean that's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but even when I am perfectly rested, I've eaten well, I feel like I should be in good health. I'm just not, and that's something in the back of my head always. Like, what if I want to stream, but I'm just so goddamn exhausted? And that feels like such an excuse when you look at one of the biggest Twitch streamers and she's like bedridden. Talking about Iron Mouse there, you know. Um, Looking at all these things that I could be doing and instead just sitting around playing video games because I just can't work up the motivation to do anything else. And I mean, that's part of why this is so difficult, right? Why so few people end up doing this kind of a thing, and why, even with so few people, it's still a massive amount of people, right? And why, or I guess, why a fair amount of people try to do this thing, but so few of them continue with it, and even smaller amount of those people succeed in the end. And yeah, it's part of the stream where Vic talks about content creation despite not having streamed in like a year or whatever. And that wasn't a New Year's joke, I swear. Um, like haha, it's like the ninth day of the year. Haha, very funny New Year. Um, like if, every time I think about it, I think if I had started doing this when I was 17, like how would I have done, right? I think if I had gone back to when I was in high school and started over again with what I know now, I could breeze through life so much easier in so many different respects. And then I think if the best time to start was years ago, then the second best time to start was the day after that, and the third best time was the day after that. And you know how it goes. The only thing I can do is start now. But how can I start now when I feel like fucking shit? When I can't get myself out of bed, when I can't stop myself from playing video games, when I open up my Godot, when I add a variable or add a function for the entirety of a week, that's all I do. How can I do this? Answer is I don't know. Genuinely do not. I semi recently passed on an opportunity to have school be a lot more convenient, but would require me to move to a specific location and be bound to a job for a certain amount of time. It would make my school life a lot easier. And I turned it down because I was like twofold, right? The first obvious one is, well, I'm going into STEM. It's a STEM degree, is uh, what I'm studying for at the moment. And, maybe I could get better money. There's a reason why they're trying to get this commitment from you now as opposed to later on when you have more opportunity in the job market. It's because they don't don't necessarily pay as much as the competitors. The second is in the back of my head, it's if I do this, then I wouldn't necessarily be able to do content creation as much as I want. And I don't even mean content creation necessarily insofar as streaming. I made it also insofar as making games, because this is something that is beginning to feel more real as time goes on, which is funny because you look at this, it's nothing. I've got nothing. This is nothing. I've got some clever things I'm doing here, but at the end of the day, in comparison to how much a real game is, this is, in the grand scheme of things, nothing. This is a stepping point. This is a starting point. This is, and the 5K race. This is, I haven't. I can still see the starting line. You know, I'm about a minute or two in, and I'm already wheezing for air. And I hate doing this because it's like, how many content creators do you watch that every single stream they do, no matter whether they stream every day or stream once a year, talk this goddamn much, reflect this goddamn much on stream about streaming? It's probably not that much because it's not that engaging to watch. Spoiler alert. Let's at least try to get some programming done. Okay, so what are my current problem is that I'm not really seeing how things are kind of being put together. So the thing I've been working on the most recently is this question instance. Oh, sorry, I bumped the microphone a bit there. Hold on, I got an email. Yeah. So you've got this question, right? What does a question need to be able to do? I think a question is going to predominantly be a visual tool, I think is what it's going to be. In my head for a while there, I wanted it to be have some kind of programming to do along with it, but I think at the end of the day, that's uh, that's not too viable. That's not what I want it to be. So I'm not really gonna mess with that. I'm not really gonna touch this too much more. I don't think. I think of, oh, I still need to test it. That's gonna require me. Um, I don't think I can test this on stream. So I think this is going to require me to get like images and test it that way, probably. Um, so what else can we do? I think the only, okay, so let's, okay, so this is kind of the main thing. Finish board, no. It looks like I've already done things to do. Okay, so finish board, not quite done. What do we have to do here, right? Finish board. Work on, what would you say this is? The little Jeopardy thing, right? Work on making Jeopardy style options. How does active player choose question, or does the host choose question? in an ideal world, we set it up so that you can do both. I think in the realistic world where I don't want to spend too much time on this, I'm already going to have to spend a fair amount of time on this. But I think in this world, I just choose one. I just do one. Same thing with the Jeopardy style options. I could probably choose it so it's random, or I don't know, you have to play a board game or game of chess in order to choose the question or something. But we're not worrying about that right now. We're just gonna work on Jeopardy style. Simple, easy. How does active player choose the question? Does the host choose the question instead? Um, what else? How will perspective questions be shown? Well, I need to make another instance called Jeopardy board or something. Right, so like how am I making another scene and instantiating it? Which is what I've done for the markers, what I've done for the options and the questions and stuff. Um, so maybe the board is kind of like a master brain kind of putting it all together. The board sets up sets up the board sets up the Jeopardy style board, instantiates the questions, sends signals to the state machine, which I'm not going to explain what the state machine is, but basically I'm not going to explain what the state machine is, but here's, if I had to explain it, how I would explain it. Yeah, sure thing, Vic. Basically what a state machine is it pushes along the game. So you've got the preparation state, like say you've got a uh, FPS game, right? So you've got like the main menu, you've got setting the game up, which would be like during a loading screen or whatever. You've got um, the pre-match, you've got round one, and then that goes back into the round, which goes into round two, and then you've got after the match, and then you've got winning screen or whatever. It goes back into main menu and blah blah blah. So just kind of states of the game. So the board will be responsible for sending signals to the state machine that tell it what state we're in, and then the state machine can set up the question instances. No. The options instances, and then the options will send. No. I don't think the options send anything anywhere. I think what we'll do is so the options will just hold information on the client until it's time for the round to be done. Oh, do you know what else I need to work on? Um, having how do we choose players for questions? One versus some versus all being able to answer a question. So like if we're having it's only one player can answer a question, or if everybody can, or if maybe somebody can snipe it. Oh yeah. I guess in Jeopardy, like everybody buzzes in, right? I think we'll want like a Jeopardy style board, but I think just for the sake of like easiness, we'll make it so everybody does that at the same time. Um, things to do in the future. Buzzing in. I think that if I do end up streaming this, I think that'd be a really cool thing to add in. Just buzzing in. That adds in a whole lot of um issues surrounding timing and multiplayer that don't really exist right now. like the multiplayer aspect, the networking aspect of it is pretty simple at the moment, but that would definitely make it a little more complicated. Maybe a good thing to work on when I need to improve my networking skills. But we're not going to worry about that right now. Right, so where are we at? Uh, Choose waiting for questions. So I think we'll probably send. So we'll send the options to, what is this called? Answers. We'll probably send um just this got a script attached to it, but hidden options is attached to it. Why is hidden options attached to it? That's weird. Um. Ooh. Wait, hold on. Wait, does this still work? Uh, oh, I don't know how I did that. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'd forgotten how to do all that stuff, so it's cool. I remembered. It's been so long I streamed, I forgot how to use my own face. Oh yeah, I was just thinking though. Um, I had so many cool ideas for stream ideas because I feel there. In oh, let's go back here. Maybe we could just hang out here for a minute. That there are so many ideas about VTubing that people just haven't really jumped on, and I don't really want to say them, which I guess kind of defeats me staying here and talking about it. So I'll go back here, but that it's disappointing in a kind of way that VTubers, there's so much innovation to be had in the space, don't really jump on it. I don't know. Maybe it'll be me, maybe it'll be somebody else, but I've got some cool ideas. Maybe we'll get there. What am I thinking about? How do we choose players for questions? Let's just work on one thing at a time. Given we might do another way of creating a trivia board, I think we'll just instantiate. We'll just create a scene for a Jeopardy board. Yeah, I kind of wish I had it named the board scene board then. I don't know why I would have named it necessarily. Probably not board, maybe like board holder. And then we'd have the boards themselves, I guess. We've got these tabs here. And we'd have like a board folder. We've got buttons, there's DIY option, hidden option. DIY is for like typing stuff in, you know. What is the capital of the moon? And then DIY option lets you type something in, so you could type something like, I don't know, M, the letter M, that is, or arugula, or I don't know. Hidden option would let you choose. The idea is that it hides who's doing what. Hmm. No, I've definitely had a better time of kind of fitting this all together in my head. So I think in order to actually do some work on this, I'm going to call it for here. And maybe we'll see where I end up next time